Royals Romancing Actors. Part 2, 1950s to today. Royals were the world's first celebrities. Their wealth and power made them stand out from the mud-caked peasantry. People wanted to know them, or at least know all about them. As actors and eventually actresses started treading the boards and becoming famous for their theatrical turns both on stage and off, it's no wonder that these celebrity worlds were drawn together. Whenever Hollywood royalty meets real royalty, it's a recipe for some serious drama. Let's journey through history to meet 10 actresses and 2 actors who starred in real-life royal romances. Grace Kelly and Rainier III, Prince of Monaco. Grace was born in Philadelphia into a wealthy and influential Irish Catholic family. Her father, John Kelly, was an Olympic gold medal rower, losing candidate for mayor of Philadelphia and a close friend of Joseph Kennedy, father of the future president. After high school, Grace attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City, though her father disapproved, calling acting a slim cut above street walking. Soon, she began to get work on Broadway, and her talent and skill for live performance saw her cast in over 60 live TV programs. She gained the admiration of many men, including Ali Khan, estranged husband of Rita Hayworth. Eventually, Hollywood took notice, and Grace was cast in High Noon opposite Gary Cooper, and Mogambo, for which she was nominated for an Academy Award. She had a habit of becoming romantically involved with her much older, often married co-stars and directors, including Gary Cooper, William Holden, and Bing Crosby. She caught the eye of director Alfred Hitchcock and starred in 3 of his most famous films, Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, and To Catch a Thief. She stole the show in all 3 films as an icy and intelligent blonde bombshell and set fashion trends with her many gorgeous outfits. She won a Best Actress Academy Award for The Country Girl in 1955. That year, Grace headed up the American delegation to the Cannes Film Festival in the French Riviera, where she was invited to a photo shoot with Prince Rainier III of Monaco at his palace. Rainier's family, the Grimaldis, had ruled the tiny principality for 700 years. Monaco is an incredibly wealthy nation thanks to its casinos, Grand Prix, and popularity as a tourist destination. Rainier was under pressure to marry. If he failed to produce an heir, then Monaco would lose its independence and revert back to France. The royal family and the micronation were also in financial trouble after their biggest bank collapsed. It was hoped that by marrying a glamorous Hollywood star, the prince could grab international attention and draw the tourists back. Grace seemed like the perfect candidate. Though she barely knew him, she was swept up in the romance and agreed to marry the prince. She was required to undergo a fertility test, and her father agreed to pay a $2 million dowry. Grace and her family set sail across the Atlantic and arrived in Monaco to much fanfare. There the couple were wed in an elaborate, star-studded ceremony. 30 million people watched the royal wedding, which was produced by MGM as a documentary. Grace wore a now iconic gown created by Hollywood costume designer Helen Rose. While on her month-long yacht honeymoon, Grace quickly realized that she and her new husband had little in common. He was stiff, formal, and often morose. In 1957, Grace gave birth to their first child, Princess Caroline, who was followed by a brother, Prince Albert, the following year. By producing an heir and a spare, Grace secured her position in the hearts of the people of Monaco. It didn't hurt that her international fame boosted the economy. Grace rejoiced in raising her children, but the pressures of royal obligation were a strain. Hitchcock offered her a starring role in his next film, Marnie, and Grace was thrilled at the prospect of returning to her passion, acting. But the people of Monaco objected, and she was devastated but forced to decline the role. In 1965, she gave birth to her third child, Princess Stéphanie. As the children grew up, Grace and Rainier drifted apart, and the news of his infidelities became widespread, though he had likely begun being unfaithful within months of their wedding. Grace threw herself into charity work and was particularly passionate about promoting theater and childhood welfare. Her children also began to rebel in their teens and 20s. Princess Caroline had a disastrous and brief marriage to an infamous playboy. In 1981, Grace met Diana Spencer, whose engagement to Prince Charles had just been announced. Diana said that she sensed great unhappiness beneath the veneer. Ironically, the two women felt a great kinship with each other. In 1982, when on holiday with her family, Princess Grace had an argument with her youngest daughter. Grace had pulled strings to get Stéphanie into the fashion school in Paris, but Stéphanie wanted to drop out and become a race car driver. The mother and daughter got into the car and continued arguing as Grace navigated the dangerously steep mountain roads. Grace suffered a stroke and lost control of the car, taking it over the edge of the cliff. Stéphanie stumbled out of the wreckage, but Grace was rushed to the hospital unconscious, where she died the next day. She was only 52. The world was shocked, and her husband and children were heartbroken. She lives on through her iconic film roles and her charity work, which is continued by her children, including Albert, who became Prince of Monaco following Rainier's death in 2005. Zsa Gabor and Frederick, Prince von Anhalt. Sari Gabor, nicknamed Zsa, was born in 1917 in Budapest, Hungary, then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire just before its fall during World War I. She came from a family of wealthy Jewish jewelers. She was first discovered while attending boarding school in Switzerland and offered a part in an operetta in Vienna. At 18, she married a Turkish politician. In 1936, she was crowned Miss Hungary. In 1941, she left her husband and Europe for Hollywood to join her younger sister, Eva, and launch a film career. During the rise of Nazism in Hungary, Zsa's mother was forced to close her jewelry shop and flee with her family to the U.S. Not all of their family escaped the Holocaust, during which more than half of Hungary's 800,000 Jews were murdered in concentration camps. Zsa's grandmother and uncle were killed by an Ally bomb. Her cousin by marriage, Tom Lantos, was the only Holocaust survivor to be elected to the U.S. Congress. All three Gabor sisters, Magda, Zsa, and Eva, grabbed attention in Hollywood, not only for their beauty, but also for their charming accents and European flair. Zsa appeared in a number of films, including Moulin Rouge, Lovely to Look At, Lily, and We're Not Married. She became a fixture of TV sitcoms, variety shows, and game shows, including Hollywood Squares. She was also famous for her glamorous and scandalous personal life. She married 9 times, including to hotel magnate Conrad Hilton, with whom she had her only child, Francesca Hilton, and British actor George Sanders. Zsa joked, "I am a marvelous housekeeper. Every time I leave a man, I keep his house." Zsa's 9th and final husband was Frederick, Prince von Anhalt, a prince with no royal blood. He had been born Hans Robert Lichtenberg in Germany. His father was a police officer. Hans married 6 times, and from one of his wealthy wives, he received a divorce settlement of $4 million. He used the money to pay Princess Marie Auguste of Anhalt to legally adopt him. Marie Auguste was the widow of Kaiser Wilhelm II's 6th son, Joachim. But with the German monarchy now abolished, the 80-year-old princess had fallen on hard times. Hans was one of 35 adults she adopted for a fee, allowing them to claim descent from the German royal family and style themselves princes of Anhalt. In 1984, Hans, now going by Frederick Prince von Anhalt, Duke of Saxony and Westphalia, and Count of Ascania, moved to Hollywood to flaunt his purchased royal title. In 1986, the 42-year-old Prinz met and married Jaja, who was 69, 26 years his senior. The couple lived a flamboyant life together. Jaja adored using the title Princess von Anhalt. They adopted at least 10 more adults to pass on their phony royal titles and pick up some extra cash. Frederick ran for governor of California and mayor of Los Angeles, but lost. Their 30-year marriage was the last and longest for both of them. It ended when Jaja died in 2016 at the age of 99. Her biographer wrote of her, "Jaja is unique. She's a woman from the court of Louis XV who has somehow managed to live to the 20th century. She wants to be all the Pompadours and Du Barrys of history rolled into one." Rob Lowe and Princess Stéphanie of Monaco. Rob was born in Virginia in 1964 and grew up in Ohio. He got his first screen role at 12 and then moved with his mother to California, where he attended Santa Monica High School with Charlie Sheen. His breakout role was in Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders. He shot to teen idol stardom as part of the Brat Pack in films including St. Elmo's Fire and About Last Night. In 1986, the actor was admiring the cover of Vogue, which featured his crush, Princess Stéphanie of Monaco, to a friend who had a connection to the Grimaldi family and offered to introduce them. Stéphanie is the youngest daughter of actress Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier III of Monaco. She was also born in 1964. Stéphanie was in the passenger seat when her mother suffered a stroke and drove off the edge of a cliff. Stéphanie stumbled out of the wreckage, but Grace did not survive. Stéphanie became a model and singer with a string of French hits in the 1980s. She dated a slew of race car drivers and celebrities. At 22, she was introduced to Rob over dinner with friends in Paris. In between entrees, she called her butler and asked him to clear out her current boyfriend's belongings from her apartment. After dessert, she brought Rob home, and he moved in with her. Their romance involved lots of lie-ins, vodka tonics, and clubbing. But their fireworks burned out quickly. Rob didn't enjoy life in Paris, or Stéphanie's friends' lack of motivation. He had agreed to host a dinner for the Princess Grace Foundation, where he met Stéphanie's father, Prince Rainier III, and Frank Sinatra. But after the event, the couple broke up. Rob moved on to a string of other celebrity girlfriends, had a sex tape scandal, and settled down with makeup artist Cheryl Burkhoff, with whom he shares 2 sons. Rob remains a fixture of TV and movies. In 1992, Stéphanie became involved with her bodyguard, Danielle Ducarret, and the pair had 2 children before marrying in 1995. A year later, Danielle was spotted cavorting with Miss Topless Belgium, and the couple divorced. Stéphanie gave birth to a 3rd child, but did not reveal who the father was. He was later identified as Jean-Raymond Gottlieb, the head of palace security. Stéphanie next dated, married elephant trainer Franco Ni, and moved her 3 children into his circus caravan. But the relationship ended in less than a year, when she moved on to another member of the circus, Portuguese acrobat Adens Lopes Perez. They married, but divorced a year later. Stéphanie remains a fixture of royal tabloids. Gwyneth Paltrow and Prince Albert II of Monaco, and Prince Felipe of Spain. Gwyneth Paltrow was born in 1972 in Los Angeles. Her actress mother, Blythe Danner, and TV producer father frequently took the family to the south of France, and Gwyneth became fluent in French. At 15, she spent a year as an exchange student in Spain, where she learned Spanish. She got into the family business at 17 and won an Oscar in 1998 for her performance in Shakespeare in Love. Gwyneth is one of several actresses who reportedly briefly dated Playboy Prince Albert II of Monaco, the son of Grace Kelly and older brother of Princess Stéphanie. Other celebrities the prince has gotten close to include actresses Brooke Shields and Sharon Stone, and models Claudia Schiffer and Naomi Campbell. In 2002, several tabloids linked Gwyneth to Felipe, Prince of Asturias, the eldest son and heir of King Juan Carlos of Spain. Her fluency in French and Spanish surely helped Gwyneth in both royal romantic relationships. But alas, neither affair was to last. Later in 2002, she met her future husband, British Coldplay frontman Chris Martin. The couple had 2 children and conscientiously uncoupled in 2016. Felipe married Spanish journalist Leticia Ortiz Rocasolano in 2004, and they have 2 daughters. In 2014, Juan Carlos abdicated, making his son King Felipe VI of Spain. Albert II of Monaco eventually settled down in 2011 with South African Olympic swimmer Charlene Wittstock, with whom he shares twins. Casper van Dien and Catherine Oxenberg of Yugoslavia. Casper was born in Florida in 1968. He moved to Hollywood in his early 20s to pursue an acting career and was cast in soap opera One Life to Live and Beverly Hills 90210. His most famous role was in 1997's Starship Troopers. From 1993 to 1997, Casper was married to Carrie Mitchum, with whom he had a son and daughter. In 1999, while filming a TV movie, The Collectors, Casper met actress Catherine Oxenberg, the eldest daughter of Princess Elizabeth of Yugoslavia. Elizabeth's father, Prince Paul, served as regent for his cousin, King Peter II of Yugoslavia. The monarchy was abolished in 1945, and Yugoslavia broke up into smaller republics. Elizabeth's mother, Princess Olga of Greece and Denmark, is a first cousin to Queen Sophia of Spain and Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth II's late husband. Elizabeth moved to New York and married Howard Oxenberg, an American Jewish dress manufacturer and close friend to the Kennedy family. Catherine attended St. Paul's School in London, Harvard, and Columbia University before deciding on a career in acting. Her first role was playing her real-life distant cousin, Princess Diana, in the 1982 made-for-TV film, The Royal Romance of Charles and Diana. In 1986, Catherine became the first, and thus far only, royal to host Saturday Night Live. She portrayed Diana again in 1992's Charles and Diana Unhappily Ever After. She had a daughter, India, with a convicted drug smuggler, and then married producer Robert Evans, 33 years her senior, but the marriage was annulled 5 days later. She married Casper van Dien in Las Vegas, Nevada in 1999. They blended their families and had 2 more daughters. In 2005, the couple starred in a Lifetime reality series, I Married a Princess. As of 2011, she is 3,936th in the line of succession to the British throne. They divorced in 2015 after 16 years of marriage. From 2011 to 2018, India Oxenberg was involved in NXIVM, a multi-level marketing company that was later exposed as a sex trafficking cult. Catherine has since written a book and appeared in a documentary about her attempts to rescue India from the cult. Casper remarried in 2018, and both he and Catherine continue to appear in TV and movies. Olivia Wilde and Prince Ruspoli. Olivia Wilde was born Olivia Jane Cockburn in New York City. Her mother, Leslie Cockburn, is an American 60 Minutes producer and journalist. Her father, Andrew Cockburn, is an Irish journalist. Olivia and her brother and sister were raised in Washington, D.C. and Ireland. She has dual Irish and American citizenship. Olivia took the stage name Wilde to honor Irish playwright Oscar Wilde. At the age of 18, she fell in love with 27-year-old Prince Ruspoli, an Italian filmmaker, musician, and member of the aristocratic Ruspoli family. Tau's father, Alessandro Ruspoli, was the 9th Prince of Cerveteri, and an eccentric actor and playboy who cavorted around 1950s and 60s Europe with the likes of Brigitte Bardot, Salvador Dali, Truman Capote, and Roman Polanski. Tau's older brother, Francesco, now holds the title of 10th Prince of Cerveteri. Olivia and Tau wed on June 7, 2003, in Virginia on board an abandoned school bus, with only a pair of witnesses in attendance. Shortly into their marriage, the young actress rose to fame via a recurring role on the teen drama series, The O.C. She went on to star in films including Tron Legacy, The Lazarus Effect, and The Words, and in hit medical drama House. By 2011, the couple who married so young had grown apart. Olivia filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, and did not seek spousal support from the prince, who was reportedly heartbroken. In 2013, Olivia became engaged to Saturday Night Live comedian and actor Jason Sudeikis. The couple have a daughter and son together. They broke up in 2020, and Olivia is currently dating musician Harry Styles. Tau currently lives in Los Angeles and works as a photographer and filmmaker. Sophie Winkleman and Lord Frederick Windsor. Sophie was born in 1980 in London. Her half-sister, Claudia Winkleman, is 9 years older and is also famous as a TV personality, best known for presenting Strictly Come Dancing. Sophie attended Cambridge University and joined the Footlights Dramatic Club. Sophie has appeared on stage, radio, film, and TV, including recurring roles in British cult comedy Peep Show. On Valentine's Day 2009, she became engaged to Lord Frederick Windsor. His father, Prince Michael of Kent, is a grandson of King George V of the UK and a first cousin of Queen Elizabeth II, meaning Frederick is a second cousin once removed to Prince William and Harry. His mother, Baroness Marie Christine von Reibnitz, aka Princess Michael of Kent, hails from a German noble family and is one of the more famous members of the extended British royal family. Because of Frederick's relationship to the Queen, he had to seek permission before marrying under the Royal Marriages Act of 1772. The act was repealed in 2013, but permission was granted to Frederick and Sophie, and they wed at Hampton Court Palace. Sophie said the royal family has been incredibly welcoming to her and that the Queen is wonderful. The day after the wedding, the couple moved to Los Angeles, where Sophie continued her acting career. Though formally known as Lady Frederick Windsor, Sophie chose to keep her maiden name and her new royal status private in Hollywood. She landed a recurring role in sitcom 2.5 Men and wrote screenplays. The couple are now based in London, where they raise 2 daughters, do charity work representing the royal family, and Sophie continues to work as an actress. As of 2021, Frederick is 52nd in the line of succession to the British throne. His daughters, Maud and Isabella, are 53rd and 54th. Maud was a bridesmaid at Princess Eugenie's wedding in 2018. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. Rachel Meghan Markle was born in 1981 in Los Angeles, California. She grew up in Hollywood, where her mother was a social worker and her father was a director of photography and lighting, and often took his young daughter to work with him on the set of sitcom Married with Children. Meghan has 2 older half-siblings on her father's side to whom she is not close. Meghan has said of her mixed European and African American heritage, "I have come to embrace it, to say who I am, to share where I'm from, and to voice my pride in being a strong, confident mixed-race woman." At age 11, Meghan was profiled by Nick News for her successful letter-writing campaign to get Procter & Gamble to change a sexist commercial. She convinced the company to change the commercial from saying women are fighting greasy pots and pans to people. While earning her degree at Northwestern University in Chicago, Meghan joined Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority and worked as an intern at the American Embassy in Buenos Aires, Argentina. After college, Meghan returned to Hollywood to try and break into acting. She appeared in bit parts on shows including General Hospital, CSI New York, Fringe, and as a briefcase model on the game show Deal or No Deal. Between acting gigs, she utilized her hobbies of calligraphy and bookbinding to make extra money. She eventually earned bigger roles in movies Get Him to the Greek, Remember Me, and Horrible Bosses. In 2011, Meghan married fellow actor Trevor Ingleson, but the couple decided to divorce 18 months later. Meghan was cast as Rachel Zane in the legal drama Suits, on which she worked for 7 years, repositioning her character from an ingenue to the show's moral conscience. She also launched a lifestyle and fashion website called The Tig, and her own fashion line. In 2016, a friend set Meghan up on a blind date with Prince Harry, grandson of Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. A great deal of tabloid speculation circled the couple, who made their first public appearance together at the Invictus Games the following year. Their engagement was announced in November 2017. Prior to walking down the aisle, Meghan retired from acting, became a British citizen, and was baptized into the Anglican Church. On May 19, 2018, the couple were wed in a lavish, star-studded wedding at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle. The ceremony was watched by hundreds of millions of viewers around the world and was noted for nods to Meghan's African-American culture in addition to the traditional Anglican service. Queen Elizabeth granted her grandson and Meghan the titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Meghan joined her new husband in his charity work and on state visits to Australia, Morocco, and other locations. In 2019, the couple welcomed a son, Archie. The family and Meghan in particular have faced a barrage of negative, often racist media coverage and invasions of their privacy. Thus, in January 2020, they announced that they would officially step back as senior members of the royal family and split their time between the UK and North America. The announcement set off a media storm around the couple. A year later, Harry and Meghan gave a highly publicized interview with Oprah Winfrey. They accused the royal family of neglecting Meghan's mental health and said that unnamed members of the royal family had discussed their son's skin color and whether or not he should be provided personal security and the title of prince. On June 8, 2021, they welcomed a daughter, Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. The family live in Santa Barbara, California. The Sussexes returned to the UK for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee in June 2022. They notably did not interact with the Cambridges in public, and according to insiders, there is a great deal of hostility between the brothers. On September 8, 2022, Queen Elizabeth died at the age of 96, and her eldest son, Harry's father, became King Charles III. Harry and Meghan were both in London at the time of her passing. Harry is now 5th in the line of succession to the throne. Archie is 6th and Lilibet 7th. Now that their grandfather is the monarch, according to the rules established by King George V in 1917, they are now titled Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. A special thank you goes to my patrons, Edith Balarjan and Brittany Gibney. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment your thoughts, and check out my other royal history videos. If you really want to help, please consider supporting me on Patreon. A link is in the description. Thank you for watching.